Hi everyone, welcome back to Inked Ivy's writing modules, writing fundamentals program for middle schoolers. Today we're starting a new writing type and I'm so excited to share it with you because I think it's going to be super exciting and it's going to be great for your skills that you've been developing and that you're going to continue to develop as you move towards high school and college. So we're starting reflective writing today. So if you log into Inked Ivy, you're going to choose reflective writing from the writing types menu. And we're going to be looking at a specific prompt in just a second, but you can take a look through and see which ones you might be interested in writing or working on outside of class. Getting in the spirit of reflective writing, I want you to think of something just as things are loading and we're getting settled. What are you most proud of from this year? Maybe it's something that's academic, maybe it's something social, maybe it's something in an extracurricular or hobby. Maybe you're even just excited for signing up for this program and all of the growth that you've done in the first few modules that we have been running together. All of these are really, really valid achievements, and you should absolutely be proud of them. And it's always good to look back and just think about the things that we're proud of. We're going to be in that same vein of thinking today and for the rest of this month with our writing module. We're going to open the prompt Pride and Accomplishment, and I'll read it for you in a second. We're going to start with our typical short loop that we start with, which is 4 minutes to read the prompt, kind of brainstorm, start thinking, and just start a draft on paper. So for this prompt, I want you to describe a moment when you felt proud of an accomplishment, big or small. What did this achievement teach you about your strengths and your abilities? So like I said, you have 4 minutes. You can go ahead and set a timer on another device, and you have 4 minutes to pause this video and start brainstorming on this topic and start writing. Again, this is a rough draft. Inked Ivy will auto-save your work, and we'll take a look at AI in just a second. On your mark, get set, go. Welcome back. I hope you're feeling proud of the first little bit of writing that you did. We're going to look at specifically what reflective writing is and what our task is so we can understand that going forward and really dive in with what we're working on. So reflective essays are essays that tell a story or texts that tell a story from our own experiences to teach others a lesson or to kind of explain some aspect of ourselves. So we need to think about this in 3 different ways. This is very similar to our narrative writing, but it's just a little bit different. So we need to think about the significance by choosing the right moment that maybe feels small, but is impactful and has had a great effect on us. We need to be detailed. While this is our own personal experience, we do need to bring it to life for our reader and make them feel like they're part of it as well. When we add in this detail, we're making them feel like they're a part of the experience. They can put themselves in our shoes and really engage and connect with our story. And lastly, like the name of the writing type describes, we need to have some sort of reflection or a reflective piece to these essays where we kind of look back and measure our own growth. So first, we're going to start with that significance piece and choosing the right moment. We need to think about all of the parts of this prompt that we have. First, we need to think of a moment that we felt proud, big or small. We need to think about what we learned about our strengths. So what strengths do we have? And what do we learn about our abilities? Okay, what do we learn about who we are as people and what we're capable of? Maybe you want to work backwards. Maybe you can think of a strength that you have and how did you realize that was a strength? Or maybe you have a particular ability or you have a skill that you're able to do. What is the moment that you learned to do that? Or how did you go about acquiring that skill? Like I said, the achievement can be big or small, but the impact needs to be significant. The effect on us as people needs to be big, needs to be significant. You can share your proud moment with the people around you, but these are some questions to kind of help unpack the parts of the prompt in a brainstorm before you start really writing and jumping into your essay. Having that solid idea as your foundation will carry you through the rest of your draft throughout this month. So if you want to start with like very clearly a big moment in your life that you're proud of, maybe there is something like small that you're really happy that you've achieved, that you're feeling a lot of pride for, that you haven't maybe like explained or explored. Like I said, maybe work backwards, thinking about what your strengths and how do you know that that's a strength that you had? What experience tells you that this is your strength? And what are your best abilities? How do you know that? How did you become aware of those abilities? Or what have you done in your life to gather those abilities? For this writing loop, we're going to have 10 minutes to write. So you started your short little draft. You're going to have 10 more minutes to add to this draft, really thinking about explaining that moment and telling the story. This is more like that narrative piece where you're just getting the story on paper first before we think about those other elements that are particular to narrative writing or for reflective writing. You're going to just go tell the narrative story of what happened. Again, this is a rough draft. We will hit that AI analysis button at the end. But I want to, before you jump in, leave you with some vocab to include in your essay. It's okay if you're not ready to add any of this in. We will be working with these same words throughout the module, but we have milestone, which is if you're going through a progression or a journey of achieving something, of accomplishing something, these are significant marker moments of making progress. So for example, think about if you're like doing karate, the different belt colors that you achieve are different milestones, essentially. Fulfillment, gratification, or feeling gratified and elated are all emotion words that are really elevated that can clearly explain how you're feeling. Feeling like you've completed something, feeling gratified, feeling satisfied in what you've done, or being elated, which is being really excited or in high spirits. Maybe you're demonstrating resilience, which is a characteristic where you are going over things and overcoming challenges again and again and not being put down, or you're going over a series of setbacks or temporary defeats or challenges that you overcome. And insight is kind of more related to the reflective piece that we'll do in module 3, where you're kind of like looking into a situation and seeing it for what it really is, and kind of seeing what the impact was. So you have 10 minutes. Go ahead and pause this video, set a 10-minute timer, and I'll see you afterwards. How did that feel? Okay, we are just getting started, so it is totally fine if all of our feedback categories are red and needs more work. We are going to see if our relevance and significance rating change particularly for this lesson, but if not, it might change later as we actually get through explaining more of what happened in our story or in our experience. That might take some time, as will the rest of these. We really have to build these in, and we're just starting with the bones of our story right now. So we're looking for progress, but if none of our rating categories changed, we have way more modules to get through to kind of see that growth. We're always looking for progress over perfection, and revising our work and adding to it makes it stronger. That is the whole perspective. But you should feel super proud because you finished your first draft of your reflective essay. You can choose 2 or 3 more prompts before next week to add to your writing, and keep practicing these skills. But next week we'll work on detail, then we'll kind of work on that reflecting piece, looking back at how it's changed us, and then kind of, as we always do, ending the unit with some organization, writing conventions, and strong writing skills. But wonderful work. Thank you so much for joining me today. You should feel so proud of your writing, and I will see you guys next week for our next module. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and happy writing. Bye-bye.